I'll share, I have a couple that I share with my students at Seton Hall, but one that I think is a good example of something that was just serendipitously liberating me as opposed to limiting me. When I was going into high school from my eighth grade year to my freshman year, I ended up, I was a big baseball player growing up. I ended up playing baseball at West Point. And going into my freshman high school year, I was actually working out with my dad at the local high school field. And prior to that, I had become the Babe Ruth MVP, right? That was the season I became the MVP. 14, 15 years old. I can't remember what I was, but I was feeling pretty on top of the world. And I'm hitting with my dad for about, an hour and a half or so. And then we go into the high school to get a drink. I was back in the days when you can go in high schools just to use their soda machine. And I go in there and I recognized that the janitor was actually watching me hit. And this wasn't a normal janitor. This was one of the best high school athletes our high school had ever produced. And I knew who it was. And I knew he was watching me. So as I walked up, he's like, "I saw you out there hitting." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're looking pretty good." And of course, I was like, I'm the Babe Ruth MVP. And he goes, "Well, what grade are you going into? Are you going in the sixth? What is it?" And here I was about to be a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And so that tells you probably a little bit about my short stature that I have. And to me in that moment, I corrected him and told him, but then I went home and I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? And I could have taken this both ways. I could have taken that down the path you talked before about how that was unfair. I'm never going to make it. People are always going to see me as short and small and less than. And so I could have quit my sport and done that. But actually, it liberated me because I can specifically remember at that moment recognizing that those are the cards that I'm dealt in life. I'm short, right? I can't control that. But what I could control was I recognized that whenever I walked onto a field or a court or even in a room, because I took it into academics as well, I took the notion that people were going to see me as less than, short, not capable, and that I had to outwork, out hustle, out work ethic everybody there in order for me to get the things that I wanted in life. And so to me at that early age, it was a game changer because that's how I saw life moving forward. That would have never have happened if I didn't have that experience with a high school janitor watching me take batting practice.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, because it kind of turned into this opportunity to say, look, I realize that I have this kind of this is who I am and how I present, but it doesn't have to hold me back. I can just work that much harder to be the person that I want to be and to prove that I can be. So,
Correct.
So I love that. So again, I'm talking to Dr. Bryan Price, and he and I are talking about life defining moments. And he's talking about that moment where he was MVP and on top of the world, but then somebody thought he was like X amount of years younger than he really was. And you can take that, like you said, and let it completely deflate you, or you can use it as a powerful story to make you want to move forward. Another thing that I thought about when I was thinking about those crucible moments was I always in my 20s and 30s worked out because I wanted to create a certain type of physique. And then when my mom passed from dementia, my whole purpose for working out totally changed. So now when I go to the gym, I go in with this completely different mindset and this goal moving forward. It's changed everything that I believe about fitness, and it's transformed into what I believe about what fitness can do to our cognitive health.